when we made this decision, we knew that there were 5 guys that we felt that we'd be okay with taking. We knew that there was 3 at the time exactly. That's why we thought 3 was a good spot to go to. After going through this whole process, I feel good about 5 guys at 3. I think every candidate's gotten stronger. And yeah, we probably started with one in mind, but that one's gotten better since, and so have all the other candidates. So do we know exactly who we want? Maybe, probably, but maybe not. I don't feel like we need to say that. And that's not just for our case, but lots of stuff happens between now and the draft. We made a decision in this process that we felt we needed to get a starting quarterback this year and add that to our team. And when we sit there at 12 way back in the day, and we wanted to dictate it.
Can you say with certainty that Jimmy Garoppolo will be on the roster on Sunday?
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday, so I can't guarantee who will be on our roster on Sunday. So that goes for all of us.
Hi, all.
I've heard the bite 19 times, and I'm still like, what? Every time. So much intrigue out in San Francisco.
Very morbid.
I go right to you on this. Complete
Went
the
dark
sentence.
very fast. Very dark.
The most interesting team in the 2021 NFL Draft will be who, Shrakes?
Well, those of us who are still living on Sunday will be the most interesting team.
But he's alive!
It's those guys, the Niners. That was some press conference yesterday, and it was John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. And to be 2 days from the draft and there still be some indecision amongst the masses as to who they're taking when we know the first and second picks is a fascinating prospect. I don't remember a number 3 pick in the draft being the most fascinating pick in the draft ever. Right. Usually it's number 1, and a lot of times you get number 2 where it's like, all right, number 1's that, but what's number 2 going to do? 3 is fascinating because Mac Jones was the guy everyone was talking about the first few weeks, and in the last week or two, Trey Lance's name has come on like a locomotive, and I am fascinated to see what actually happens on Thursday night. They could not have drawn up 2 more different prospects as far as where they come from, what production they had, and then, of course, what programs they came from. Mac Jones threw for 4,500 yards last year, led the nation in passing, had a 77% passing percentage, completion percentage, and won the national title. Trey Lance played 1 game and barely beat Central Arkansas going 15 of 30. It's a wild, wild dynamic between the 2 different quarterbacks and what they end up deciding. And the fact that we don't know is so interesting. And the last part of it is, once they make this pick, they don't have a first-round pick next year. They don't have a first-round pick the year after. They will be sitting with this pick and have to not only sit with it, but swim with it and sink with it and fly with it and then completely go down with it. Whatever it is, this is the guy, and they are going to be on the clock, and I do not know who they are taking right now, and I cannot wait to see. Thursday could not get here soon enough.
And then, Nate, there's the Jimmy Garoppolo aspect of all of this. You made a great case for keeping him on the roster, how it's not really going to upset the cap, or they could do it and keep him there to compete with a rookie or to have one learn from him. What do you think about what you heard your guy Shanahan say?
I just like the fact that he said he can't guarantee that anybody will be alive. He didn't really address Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't feel like he needs to, and that's why he's irritated by the question about Jimmy. But I'll move along to the Miami Dolphins. Listen, the Miami Dolphins, they are on the clock, and this is about to get good. They have 2 picks in the top 20, the only team with their first-round picks in the top 20, number 6 and 18. And what's exciting about this is the Miami Dolphins made a leap from the 2 previous seasons to this season where they won 5 more games. Just think about that for a second. Brian Flores is still in the infancy stages of being the head coach at the Miami Dolphins. They were 10-6 last year, despite all the issues that they dealt with, despite the quarterback carousel between Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick. They still made a great improvement. And now they're sitting there with 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. And now you're saying, they're just picks. They're just picks. Okay, well, a few years ago, the Browns had just picks, and they ended up landing Myles Garrett, who was the absolute superstar, Jabril Peppers, who was their first-round pick, who they traded away to bring in Odell Beckham, Njoku, and then the following year, what did they do? Denzel Ward, Baker Mayfield. The reason I'm bringing up the Browns because the Browns were irrelevant a handful of years ago, and last year they were one of the most exciting teams. Definitely. So now imagine this for a second. A team like the Miami Dolphins, who are 10-6, already now have these picks, 5 in the first 3 rounds. If they land these picks right, not only will they improve slightly, they might be more dominant than we've ever seen them before. And a fun fact about the Dolphins, they are carnivores. So it is time for the Dolphins to eat. No more games. I'm with Brian Flores, man. I love what he's doing.
The Dolphins eat
Oh,
fish.
yeah,
Who
the
knew?
carnivores, baby.
All right, I'm excited for the Dolphins. I'm worried for Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, this is a thing now. Like, that was a very, very strange quote. What do they call it? Dead cap space? And it's a little optic. I don't know. Are they going to wear a patch? I'm going to try to break the rules here. The federal law, the state law, and the Good Morning Football law. Is it okay if I talk about Jacksonville?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, there are certain people
Really?
at this table who think that Media Market 32, don't talk about them ever on the show, let alone in the opening block. I think the Jaguars are the most interesting team.
Do you?
Do you know this? The Jaguars have the #1 pick in the draft. The Jaguars have 2 picks in the first round. The Jaguars have 4 picks in the top 45. For whatever reason, Media Market 32, it's taboo to talk about the best player and the #1 pick. And maybe I have a theory on that too. There's been a lot of times the Jaguars have been towards the top. Now, they've never had the #1 pick ever. You might think they have because they never have. But there's been a lot of misses. Bring them up. Top 5 picks in the entire history of the Jaguars. Let's just go with me. Fournette gone, Ramsey gone, Fowler way gone, Bortles, nope. Luke Jokel, nope. Justin Blackmon, Demons, nope. Kevin Hardy, good player. Tony Vaselli, probably get in the Hall of Fame someday. So they're like 1.5 out of 8 with these top 5 picks. But for whatever reason, we talk about Nick Sirianni more than Urban Meyer on this show. We talk about Kyle Trask more than Trevor Lawrence. It's time to it's draft week. It's time. Enough about who the Niners are taking. We get it. It's interesting. The Jaguars are taking the best player, and they're saying, I'll tell you this. Urban Meyer did not make the jump to the pros to mess around. I think his draft picks are going to be bold. I think he is going to draft for speed every single time. I think he wants to have the fastest team in the AFC. This is going to get really interesting really fast. It's not just Lawrence, it's Meyer, the #1 pick. It's time to talk about Jacksonville when it's not all about who their mayor is tweeting the show and Limp Bizkit. It's Trevor Lawrence. It's the #1 pick. They're the most interesting. Sorry, not sorry.
I think it's the Niners. The Shregs you want to hear from Twitter.
Okay.
GMMV. I do.
Some presentation.
What the whole thing I laid it all out there. Talk the Niners
It was
enough
amazing.
times.
And we filled our quota, and it was a great, nice lift, and I can't wait to see what happens in 2 days.